I'm sure a lot of people are like familiar with the idea of getting put into a show or a video or a movie, whatever. It's sometimes called like an isekai, like just a normal person goes into a fantasy world, and they're like, "Wait, so you're telling me I'm someplace that I wouldn't exactly call home?" Like that whole spiel. And people are always talking about, "Oh, I bet I would be like this super powerful character," or like, "What would I have to do to survive?" Or if they're in like a place where there's zombies, like, "Here's what I would do to, fight off the zombies, protect the people I love." And oh, and if some people, the freaks, are like, "Oh, I bet this character would just fall in love with me." No, that's not what I'm about. I'm about, what would you eat? Because, like, okay, I know you can assume in a lot of places it's like, "Oh, I'm just gonna eat normal food." But think about it, like, in terms of video games especially, how many video games explicitly show that they have food, right? And, because I'm assuming, like, if they're not about food, not a whole ton of them, and, like, you can say, "Oh, well, what's going to be in the fantasy world I fall into isn't just everything you see in the video game. It could be like a whole expanded world behind the scenes." I say, well, in that case, that's a completely different world. If you're going to make an expanded world behind the scenes, that's just something you're making up. That's not in the universe. It's inspired by the universe, but it's not that universe. And the universe I'm going to talk to you today about is Plants vs. Zombies. The one food item we ever see is a taco, and I'm pretty sure that's in the second game. So then, if you got trapped in the world of Plants vs. Zombies, what would you eat? The plants, duh. But which ones are the tastiest? Which ones are delicious? Which ones are delightfully delectable? That's what I'm trying to figure out today. Alright. Let's see. So, starting off basic, a pea shooter. Now, I'm going to be basing this a little bit off of the plant the thing's based off of, but also just, the way it looks, like the vibes this plant is giving me. And a pea shooter, like, it looks okay to eat. Like, if somebody handed me a pea shooter, said take a bite out of it, I think it would be a little bit soft. Like, maybe it'd be kind of chewy. Like, I feel like there's a harder outer bit. And then there's, like, it's soft on the inside. A little bit like a pea, but like an undercooked pea. So that you're still getting a bit of that, like a lentil. Like, I feel like a pea shooter has the texture and taste of a lentil. Right? Now, I don't really like lentils, but I do like them in soup, I guess. So if somebody just handed me a giant lentil and said, "Here, eat this," I'd say, "No thanks." But if somebody cooked up the pea shooter, maybe I'd eat it. Okay, a sunflower, I would say does not taste good. But because it's flour, right? There's not really a meat to it. Like, there's nothing to eat. Like, you can eat the middle, which, in addition to being a face, which is its own whole world of it, it's also probably full of seeds, like a regular sunflower is. Seeds and stems and all the, flower bits. And then there's the petals, which are, again, not any sort of meat. That's just petals. So, personally, I do not think a sunflower would taste good. I think it would just taste like a flower, And I know that's kind of a boring answer, like, "Oh yeah, sure, the sunflower's gonna taste like a sunflower." But honestly, looking at it, like, I don't get any good vibes from it. Like, I don't look at that and say, I look at that and say that's a sunflower, Alright. Sorry if I don't go in order. I'm just off the dome, Okay, a walnut. I feel like a walnut would taste good. Because, look at the zombies. They just stand there eating it forever. It's gotta be good. That's something. But, like, I just feel like it'd be so incredibly difficult to get to the actual meat inside the thing. And it's like if you ever crunch on, like, a pecan or walnut shell, like, it's not only has barely any flavor, but the flavor it does has, it's like wood. So, like, you've got to break through this hard outer shell of wood, or theoretically bite through it, chew through it, like a zombie does. But I think what's on the inside is really good. But that outer shell is just too much trouble to get through, okay? snow pea, I feel like a snow pea, again, being a little boring, but if a pea shooter is like a lentil, I feel like a snow pea is like a frozen pea. It's so boring, but like honestly, you know how you get the bag of peas out of the freezer, open it up, put it in the little thing, and cook it, but sometimes you take one out and just like bite into it, chew it. Maybe you do it with corn too. Like, I feel like that's the texture a snow pea has. But like the whole thing. Like, if the snow pea had like the sort of mushy interior like a lentil, a cooked lentil, then I feel like a snow pea is like even firmer, but also just satisfying to like crunch down on. Right? So I feel like if I had to choose between eating a pea shooter and a snow pea, I'd rather eat a raw snow pea and a cooked pea shooter. A cooked snow pea is honestly just like a freezer burnt pea shooter. So like, what's the point? Why would you do that? That's my take on it. That's 4. Okay. A chomper. Now I don't know if the chomper is based on any particular thing. I'm pretty sure it's just a Little Shop of Horrors reference. And, if we're going off that, neither Audrey 2 nor the Chomper strike me as delicious, Like, I look at it and I feel like, okay, the stem looks pretty good. I mean, maybe the head bit, I guess, but when I look at it, delectable does not come to mind. And also there's the added danger of, if you're trying to, get ready to eat it, it could eat you, And I feel like even if you, like, fought through it, you managed to, like, cut it up, cook it up, it'd be like, what's the right, I know there are some fish out there, or some, no, it's a carnivore, right? So it's like eating, wolf, or eating, badger, or bear. Like, it's a carnivore, right? So it's going to be really gamey and tough. Because we usually eat herbivores, right? Because herbivores are just naturally have a softer, more tender flesh. And a carnivore is going to have tougher, like, meatier flesh because it's got to, like, run to hunt animals or whatever. And so I feel like the chomper just has, like, really tough meat. Or, like, whatever part of the plant you consider meat. So I don't think a chomper would be good. Okay. A repeater is exactly the same as a pea shooter, but I guess a little meatier, And it's got more leaves on the back, so if you wanted to do something with that, sure, whatever. Like, some people like eating leaf. You could turn it into tea. I don't know. I'll probably kick this. But no, so yeah. Boring, whatever. Cherry bomb. I'm assuming it's just a cherry, but like it's a burnt and blackened cherry. Like, because you're not going to eat it while it's alive, and it's going to be very hard to harvest it while it's still alive without it detonating. So I feel like what's left of the cherry bomb after detonation is just basically charcoal. Like, there's barely anything left. You can't eat it. But if you somehow did manage to, like, butcher one while it was still alive before exploding, I feel like it would just be pretty sweet, maybe a bit tangy, like that bit of gunpowder or sulfury taste. So it wouldn't be as good as eating a normal cherry, but there is so much of it, and there's 2 of them, that I feel like it might be worth it, 7. I know there's gotta be a potato mine. Potato mines, call me crazy, but they're delicious, right? Like, when they explode and they spit out and they spew like pieces of potato everywhere? That looks delicious. They look warm and soft and buttery. It's just like a baked potato. Unlike the cherry bomb, which after exploding is pretty much worthless, you want the potato mine to explode, to make it delicious. Because it cooks itself, it's already warm, it's already put up into little slices. And it's big, too, so you can share it. you and your friends might go out and deliberately set off potato mines so you can eat them. You know, if your friends got trapped in there too. Me personally, I would poke it with a stick from like far away. Make it explode and just scoop up the pieces, clean them off a bit, and there's a delicious meal right there. So overall, day plants look pretty good. There's a few that, you know, are a little tougher or that you really wouldn't want to eat, but I'd say generally, it's a good deal. Wait a second. Okay, night plants. I'm gonna be a little biased because mushrooms are just not my favorite, and mushrooms are, you know, the principal thing of night. But I'll try to be as unbiased as I can be. Okay, puff shrooms. Now I don't know what's in a puff shroom to make it cost 0 sun. It's the most spammable plant in the game, but whatever it is, it doesn't have very much substance. It's tiny. Like, it's barely worth anything. Like, I feel like I could eat a puff shroom in like a couple bites, but I would feel just so unfulfilled. Like, it wouldn't fill me at all. I could eat tons of them, but just like you can fill up your yard with puff shrooms and still have a pretty meager defense, you can fill up your belly with puff shrooms and have a pretty meager meal. You know, so overall, like, despite what puff shrooms might taste like, I just don't think they're worth eating. It's like a potato chip, I guess. You know, sure, you could eat a whole big bowl of potato chips and maybe you'd be full. But wouldn't you rather eat something actually, you know, filling and nutritious and good? I think I would. Okay. Sun shrooms. Alright, so we do know from the flavor text that sun shrooms hate sun. You know, they're trying to push whatever ATP they get out of them as fast as possible. And I don't know about you, but I feel like that would mess with the, you know, cycle of the plant overall. Like, we can assume it's hyper accelerating its, you know, metabolic patterns in order to push out that sun faster and faster. I mean, it's not even fully grown and it's still trying to push out, you know, incomplete little bits of sun. And that speaks to me like, imagine an animal that's been running its whole life. It's never stopped running. It's always just been, you know, racing. And hey, that's going to build up some meat. You're going to get some substance to it. But it is just the most overworked, you know, gamey piece of food you've ever had, because that animal never took a rest in its life. You know, that is just stretched out, worn out meat. You know, and it's good. It's very tender, you know, but it's just, I don't want to eat that. You know? Again, I feel like it's got some flavor to it, right? Like, that sun's doing something to it, passing through its body over and over. But it's just so overworked. I don't want it. Right? Okay. Let's see. A hypno shroom. This is interesting. I think it's like a pufferfish situation. It's a little hard to say. Should try it, say it 3 times fast. No. I feel like if you cook the hypno shroom right, then it's going to be, you know, it's going to be pretty good. I mean, it's got to be good, you know, because otherwise it's just not worth it. I feel like if you cook it right, then you're going to get this very soft, very, you know, it's going to have a good texture to it. It's going to have a great taste. You know, I think it would taste a little bitter, but like not too bitter to the point where you want to spit it out. Just enough bitterness where you go, like kind of like chocolate, I guess. Like cocoa chocolate, like unsweetened chocolate. I don't know if you've ever had that. Where you eat it and it's just like, like you go, like that's where you go. You don't go, you go. No, it's a good thing. But if you cook it wrong, like you're either going to get like extremely high, like you just ate, you know, a fistful of LSD. Like you're not even supposed to, like you're just, and then you just feel the effects happen immediately. Or you're just going to get so sick, and you're just going to be throwing up for hours. Honestly, that would happen if you ate a bunch of LSD, but like still, it is just going to be terrible if you cook it raw. So it's like a pufferfish. You need to get an expert on the subject, and considering that I don't think people eat hypnoshrooms in the Plants vs. Zombies universe, there isn't going to be one. So, unfortunately, your dreams of eating a hypnoshroom might have to go down the drain. Okay, a doom shroom. You might think it'd be a little like the cherry bomb, where it's like, oh, you can collect pieces of it after it exploded, but if you manage to harvest it, it would be fine. No, I think a doom shroom is just nasty, straight up. I think it's just so filled with rage and, whatever explosive material exists inside of it, that there's no part of it that's a meat. I think it's just a big balloon filled with gunpowder, or whatever equivalent. Because like a cherry bomb, it explodes, whatever, it just explodes. But a doom shroom damages your lawn. Like, that is some serious high-level explosives inside that thing. I don't think there's anything to eat. And if you try to cook up the explosive stuff, well, first you'd explode, but second of all, you just spit it out because it's disgusting. Ice shroom. Ice shroom. I could see myself taking a bite out of an ice shroom, like breaking off little pieces. If like an ice shroom is a good appetizer, like you break off one of the chunks, eat it like a baby corn. Yeah. So I feel like it's like frozen baby corn, right? You'd break off, you'd work it around in your mouth for a bit and bite it down. Or if you're, hardcore, it's straight through the ice. I don't know. I feel like it's actually very tender on the inside. A little chewy because it's a mushroom, but the ice just sort of encases it, keeps it cool. And it's good. I would eat an ice shroom. I would just have one by me. Delicious. And when you eat it, you got a shiver through your body. That'd be good. Ooh, I actually want one now. Okay, scaredy shrooms. Not only extremely easy to harvest, but, I feel like they're good. Like, if a puff shroom was just unfulfilling, maybe it had a good flavor, an addictive flavor even, but it was just unfulfilling, like a Pringle, I feel like a scaredy shroom is like, I don't even know if there are gourmet chips, but a scaredy shroom, it's not necessarily like, filling, and you're like, this was amazing. But you have it, and like, you could, it's like an appetizer. A scaredy shroom is an appetizer, and a puff shroom is the free chips they give you at like a Tex-Mex restaurant. But, okay, puff shrooms are chips and salsa, scaredy shrooms are chips and queso. Like, you're actually getting something from it. Not much, but you do get something, right? But I think taste-wise, it's pretty much on par with the puff shroom. Maybe a little bit richer, but, not necessarily any better or worse. And then puff shroom, I feel like, alright, so you had starter, appetizer, puff shroom is the main course. Like, that is good. Like, you cut out pieces of it, you grill them, you saute them, you do whatever, but a puff shroom is going to be delicious. A fume shroom. Sorry, I'm stupid. A fume shroom is the main course. Fume shrooms are delicious. I look at them, I say that stem looks delicious, that head part looks delicious. You can probably take the juice out from the inside. That's delicious. Drink it up. Now you've got a drink and a main course, and you had you popped a few puff shrooms. Maybe a bit of scaredy shroom to share with the table, but then you just had a fume shroom, and you just ate it up, and you wanted more. Like, fume shroom leaves you wanting more. Puff shroom leaves you like you never had any to begin with. You know what I mean? So yeah, I very much respect fume shroom and what it does. Grave digger. No. Grave digger, I don't think it's made out of anything edible. To me, it looks like it's made of either wood or stone. And given these are plants, I'm going to go with wood. But it does not seem tasty to me. Like, maybe you could use it as like the logs you're using to grill something else, like to put on a grill, and that might give it some flavor. Like mesquite would give meat a certain flavor. So maybe you get gravedigger flavor, but on its own, like it's just not edible. So yeah, that's my take on gravedigger. I think that's it for night plants. So night plants did fare a little worse. I feel like I had more criticisms than day plants, but you know, what are you gonna do? Pool plants. That's gonna be good. Let's see. Okay, gotta hurry this up. Okay. Lily pads. Not a ton of flavor, but a good texture. Like, I could cut a chunk out of a lily pad, bite into it. It'd be like, I don't know if, I mean, you know what aloe is, like the aloe plant, but I feel like, or cactus. Aloe or cactus is what lily pads make me think of. I feel like I would cut it out, there'd be a bit of juice on the inside, and I could bite through it and chew it. I don't know if you get what I'm saying, but like, I feel like it is tasty. It's good. I would eat a lily pad. Let's see. Tall nuts are just like exactly like walnuts, but just even harder to get through, so even less worth it. You know, nothing really unique to say. It's literally just a walnut, except bigger and tougher. Okay. Let's see. Plants I'm not on. Torchwood, same thing. Actually, it might even be worse than the gravedigger because once again, it's just made of wood. Like it's literally torched wood. So not only is it already burnt, so you can hardly use it to grill anything, but I feel like that wood is just so fire resistant because otherwise the whole thing would just go up in flames. So you could use it to grill things, but it'd just be so difficult to use in comparison to a gravedigger that you're just like, I'm not even going to bother with this. So, sorry, torchwood might be rough. If you managed to use it, it would just be a real charred, smoky flavor. Like, nothing fancy. I don't know what a gravedigger grilled meat tastes like, but better than torchwood grilled meat, I'll tell you that. Three-peater. I have like three peters. I don't know if I'd eat a three peter. I feel like more of the three peters in the stem. So like if you remove the stem, like the heads are basically peters. But if you remove the stems, maybe you could use as a garnish, maybe a little side dish. If you're making ramen, you can cut them up and like put them in the bowl, just eat them up. I feel like the stem on a three-peater is better than the head. But then again, like, you're just eating a stem. It's like shark fin soup. You just took this whole plant, you just ate the stem. Whatever. Not really worth it. I feel like stems are like green onions, but like thicker and tougher. So it's like, imagine if the base of a green onion was the whole stem. That's what I'm getting from it. Pool plants are not my forte. See, squash. I don't like squash, I'll tell you that. And that's a warty looking squash. But if you like squash, I feel like you would like squash. Because, like, all things considered, that's just a squash. It's just a big old squash. Maybe it's a little tough and banged up on the inside because of, you know, it's squashing things. But yeah. Honestly, squash is just a squash. Nothing else to say. Let's see. Jalapeno. Very good. Not good on its own. Like, if you took a bite out of it, you'd regret it. But like if you diced it up, used its seasoning and things, amazing flavor. I would eat a jalapeno seasoned dish. It would be wonderful. Just absolutely delectable. Yummers. And honestly, it just makes food spicy. It's a jalapeno. What do you want me to say? But it's like a ghost pepper on steroids. And it's huge. So there's just more of it to eat, you know? Let's see. Spikeweed? I don't know if there is anything of a spikeweed to eat. Like, to me, it looks like mud with, like, little spiky growths coming out of it. Like, maybe the mud, like, is part of the plant, but I don't think that spikeweed is edible. Like, if you... Gross. Like, both gross to, like, even put in your mouth, but also gross once you put it in your mouth. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, spikeweed just not edible. I'm just gonna put that out there. Gosh, what is that thing? I know there's like one more plant. One day I'll get it. Okay. Oh. No, that's different. Whatever, moving on. Okay, I'll get it later. Fog plants. Return of some weirdos. Okay, let's see. Pumpkin. Alright. Is a pumpkin good? I mean, same thing with the squash. Like, zooming out, that's literally a pumpkin. If you like pumpkin, you will like the pumpkin. Crazy how that works. I think a pumpkin, I feel like it's a little firmer than a real pumpkin. Like, I feel like it's slightly unripe, like just to make it tougher. So you might have to wait a bit before you ate your pumpkin, but once you did, I feel like it'd be good. Magnet shroom. It seems to me that a lot of the magnet shroom's body is just metal. But you know that purple part underneath the magnet? I feel like that's great. Like, if you know a prickly pear cactus, then, what you want is that, is the fruit right at the top. The rest of it, sure, you could eat, maybe, but you want that tiny little part. You're going to take that out. It's going to be meaty, but great. You want that. That's the only part you really want. Again, shark fin soup analogy. You want the tiny little part, and the rest of it you can just throw away. Okay. Cactus. Now, I'll make it clear. I don't like the cactus plant, Plants vs. Zombies. But I will not let that, affect my ratings. I think the cactus is just kind of nasty. I don't know what to tell you. Like, it does not strike me as a delicious plant. I look at it, and I say, okay, maybe you could do something with the spines, like if you're making, like, a tenderloin, you can just poke spines in the thing. First of all, what is there to make a tenderloin out of? We don't see any meat, except from zombie meat, and I'm not eating that. And I guess you could chop up the cactus and grill it, or maybe the thing on top of it, little fruits, maybe, but just, there's so many better options. Why would you eat the cactus unless you just loved cactus? Like actual cactus plant. No, I wouldn't do it personally. Okay. Sea squirts. Sea squirts. I'm inclined to say, oh, it's like a puff shrimp, doesn't fill you up, but I feel like sea squirts are a little more substantive, I guess you could say. Not super substantive, but if a puff shroom is chips and salsa, then a sea squirt is chips and guac. Like, it's a little better. Like, you desire it more, but like you have to work a little harder to get it. Like, dish out some money where chips and salsa just comes out free. And you might have the best chips and guac ever. And you'd be like, hey, that was so worth the little extra work I put in to get it. But at the end of the day, like, it is just chips and guac. It could be delicious, but is it worth it? I don't think so. But you're just hoping, when you eat it, you're just hoping for that magical experience where, like, the chips are perfectly salted, the guac is mixed with the right amount of lime, maybe even some little mix into onions, bell pepper, whatever. Yeah, so you could eat the sea squirrel, but is it worth it? Sometimes. Definitely more than a puff shroom is worth it. Okay. Planter. Maybe. I feel like plantains are pretty soft. Like, they're fragile. Like, if you kicked a plantain, it'd break, right? Whatever's on the inside, I feel like it's like an egg. Like, the outside is just kind of weird and fragile and gross, and what's on the inside just comes out as this big gloopy mess of, like, glowing material. But if you cook it while the outside shell is still on, you're going to take out the inside. It's going to be like, wow, this is great, but it's so volatile. Like, if you cook it too much, it's just burnt and stuck to the sides. Cook it too little, and it's good, but it's a little gloopy, and you might get sick. So, plantain is the egg of plants. Right. Let's see. My knowledge is really getting shaky at this one. Oh, that was the one I missed on pool. Tangle kelp. Tangle kelp, I think, is good. I think it's like noodles, you could unravel it, maybe get some shears, snip through, toss them up with some oil, lightly salt, and, get some sauces and spices. I feel like tangle kelp would be really good. So yeah, I would eat the tangle kelp. I don't know what it would taste like. It might be a little poisonous, so you're going to have to soak out some of the worse stuff for you. But once you do, it's going to be good. I am no expert. Let's see. Okay. What are the fog plants? Like, fog has the weirdest plants. There's no real cohesion between them. But overall, I think Pool did alright. Okay, fog. Fog plants. I don't know. Oh, Blover, or Blover, yeah. Blover it's alright. Like, it's got most of the meat is in the center area. Like, you could, like, get something out of the leaves, maybe, like, a reduction, maybe some juice. I feel like they're juicy leaves, but the middle part has most of the meat. And it'd be alright, it'd be pretty soft and flaky, I think. So, like, not, like, maybe gourmet. Like, if you wanted something really fancy, then you're gonna, prepare the middle of a plover. But if that's not what you're looking for, then just don't bother. Otherwise, you're just wasting your time. Okay. Okay. Gosh, I'm really hoping the fog plants will come back to me at some point. Because right now, I'm drawing a blank, to be honest. Oh! That's another one. Split pea. Split pea is kind of like a pea shooter, repeater, three-peater, all that. But I feel like it's a little bit off. Like, you bite into it and you're like, hey, this is like a quiche, this is like a lentil. But then you're like, you know what I mean? Like, you take a bite and you just know instantly something is wrong. You can't put your finger on what it is, but something is wrong here. And you're just, like, you finish it, it's good, but it's just, if you ate it and then you ate a pea shooter, you would say, this is so wrong. What is going on with my food? You know? It's like you can't put your finger on it. Okay. I will return to, fog later once I figure all this out. Okay, roof levels. This should be easy. Okay. Roof. Okay, starting out the flower pot. That's just full of dirt. I assume it's not made of clay, or it's maybe it's just sort of clay analogous substance. But biting it would just be like, it's like trying to eat the outside of a walnut to get to the good stuff, except there is no good stuff, it's just full of dirt. So, you put in maximum effort for minimum yield. It's just, don't eat the flower pots. Cabbage pulps, though, yum. Delicious. Like for all the catapult plants, assume that the basket that they threw from, you could like chop it up, dice it, and just be, fry it maybe, and that'd be great. Like, any of the catapult baskets, I would eat. Right. Sorry, I'll be with you in just a second. So cabbage pulp, great. It's just cabbage, boil it, make sauerkraut. It's not the exactly right kind of cabbage to make sauerkraut, but I feel like I can pull it off. Kernel pulp, same thing. It's a big old piece of corn, and it supplies its own butter. Like, amazing. Like, just get some salt, maybe some pepper, and season it up. Like, it's a self-seasoning plant. Amazing. So kernel pulp, cabbage pulp, great. Melon pulp, same thing though. This melon's probably gonna be a little bit banged up from like being so heavy and lobbing around, but I feel like you could make it work. Like, you could eat a melon pulp, and it would be basically just like a watermelon, but just a little bit bruised up. But at the end of the day, getting closer to the center, it's all good. It's all good, man. Let's see. Umbrella leaf is the leaves kind of sour the experience. You need to cut deep around the leaves to make sure none of the stems get in. But the actual stalk is quite nice. I get that vibe from it. Like, I look at it and I say, oh, that's a nice stalk you got there. Nice. Sounds a little weird, but yeah. So, umbrella leaves, very bad. Like, very sour and bitter. But stalk, just nice and meaty. Okay. Coffee bean. You do not want to eat it alone. Like, if you've been into it, maybe just like biting into a regular coffee. Some people like that, but this is a big coffee bean. Like, if you bit into this, like, you would just be hacking and coughing, like, it'd stain your teeth. Like, all the effects that coffee have on you in, like, the long term, you're going to get, like, momentarily and instantly. You're just going to be, oh, that was the worst thing I ever ate. Like, you will regret it instantly. But I feel like it's a good seasoning, and it enhances the flavor of a lot of the mushrooms, As it's the whole game mechanic. Coffee bean wakes up mushrooms. I feel like it awakens the flavor a little bit. I see what I did there. Apart from that, let's see. other plants are there? The roof levels. I thought this was gonna be easy. Like, why is my knowledge run out? I've run afloat with no paddle. I just don't know. Actually, I don't know. Oh, look. What was that? I teleported. You know, I warped time and space. You know, don't you forget it. Let's see. Mysteriously, my mind has, returned to its full former glory. And I've remembered that the plant I forgot in fog was starfruit. And it's good. It's very sweet, extremely sweet. Very, it's like a mango. It's like a good, slightly unripe mango where it's like you chew through it. And it's a little stringy on the inside, kind of like a stone fruit. But I feel like it works. It works. Starfruit, I would eat it. Okay. And for roof plants, garlic? No, I like garlic. I really like garlic. But would I eat the garlic from Plants vs. Zombies? I don't think so. I feel like tiny bits of it would be good, but like just a bite out of it, like same with the coffee bean. Like if you couldn't just take a bite out of it, you would season the other plants with it, but you could just not take a bite out of the garlic. The same way you would take a bite out of like the pea shooter or the melon pult. Opposite ends of the spectrum, alright. Okay, but so garlic, great in very small doses, but terrible on its own. Okay, and finally we have the marigold. And it's a kind of a sour note to end on because the marigold is just like the sunflower. It's just a flower. It's got a bunch of seeds in the middle, and the fact that it extrudes coins, like metal coins, like that doesn't bode well for me. Like the sunflower, oh, it excretes sun, whatever. I don't know what you have to do to your plants to make them excrete metal coins. Like, are they mining through the earth, digging up metal and bringing it to the surface? I don't like that. So, I would not eat a marigold. Okay. I don't think I'll go through, like, the bonus plants, but I will talk about the imitator, because I feel like the imitator is just the most bland, chalky, disgusting plant. Like, any other plant I said would be gross, like walnut shell or flower pot or garlic or coffee bean. Like, forget all of that. Like, doom shroom, even forget that. Imitator is the worst tasting plant. Like, oh, time flash. But if you tried to eat the imitator, like, you would just, like you would have to force yourself to eat it. Like, you'd be, like, gritting your teeth, like, oh, I don't want to, it'd just be terrible. You do not want to eat it. But it could transform into any plant you want, so you have to do some convincing. You'd be like, hey, listen, just do me a solid, transform into ice shroom, chill shroom, do that, and then we'll be cool. And then you eat them. And I don't know if the imitator can change back into a different plant, but it's good. So yeah, that's about it. So I don't know. So that's all the Plants vs. Zombies. See ya.